early morning on July 4th, we started to see water levels kind of go down pretty dramatically. So that's an indication that there's a leak somewhere in the system, and it was a fairly large leak. They were losing about 5,000 gallons a minute. Usually when you have a leak that size, it's pretty easy to spot. You got people calling in and telling you where it's at. Well, this one was in a kind of unique location. It was located at 10th and Milner, behind APAC, kind of in the back alley between APAC and the railroad tracks. So it was not evident, right off the bat where the leak was. So it took several hours to actually find and locate where the leak was at, and then it was on a 12-inch main, and the split was it was a split on the underside of the pipe, and it was about 6 feet long. So it was a pretty large water leak. Actually, some of the guys said it was one of the guys that's worked here for 15 years said it was the largest one he's seen in his time with the water department. So they found the leak. They had to dig it out, figure out how big the actual hole was or what we needed to replace, and then they were able to do that. It took I found the leak probably about 8:30 or 9 o'clock yesterday morning, and then they had it all completed and water was running back up at full steam at about probably 5 or 5:30. So it was a long process to get it fixed. They finally did. The reports went out last night, a request to continue to kind of conserve water through the night. That was just in order to build the system back up, because during that entire time, we were losing quite a bit of water. So at this point, we should be kind of back up to full steam and not have any issue with water pressure or volumes in the towers. Obviously, it was an older pipe. I don't know, I don't know when it was actually put in, and honestly, in that area, it had to be quite some time ago, because there's been some stuff built up and around that, and typically that wouldn't happen. If we put a new water line in, we wouldn't allow you to build that close to it. It was fairly close to APAC's equipment and property. So it was pretty old. Now, the condition of the line, the inside of the pipe didn't have a lot of corrosion. It didn't look like there was a lot of buildup. Typically with a water line, over time, even though the line may be 12 inches, there'll be buildup on the inside of the line, and there really wasn't very much. Just one of those things that happens with water lines. It had a couple of holes, and the holes, they split together. It had probably been leaking for quite some time, just not at the, there's water lines leaking right now probably all over the city that we don't know about. They're just not dramatic enough that it causes an impact or a big problem with the system. At the water plant, when they, normally when we see a leak, we'll see water running down the road, that sort of thing. With this one, it was large enough that they actually saw the levels in the tower start to fall. So that's when, as they fall pretty quickly, they become concerned about the system as a whole, because you have to keep pressure in the system in order for everybody to be able to have water. So once they saw that level start to fall fairly quickly, they started looking for the leak so that we could isolate it. And the first thing you do is you find the leak, and then you isolate it, shut down valves in that area so you don't have as much water running through. Now, we didn't actually shut down altogether. You didn't shut a whole area down, but we'll limit the amount of water that goes through the system in a particular area so that we can get in and fix the leak.